Hey, what's going on? Anyways, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about how I set up a B-class car. I'm not saying I'm the fastest racer out there, but maybe this will help some people that are starting out get something that's handling okay for them. So here we go. The first thing we're going to want to do in Forza 6 is we're going to want to buy a car. Okay, and one of the things that I look for when I look at cars is I want to look at something that's got a pretty good top end with maybe pretty good handling, and maybe it's rated a couple of levels down or maybe just one level down. This could be interesting. Audi S3 4.6 handling and 6.5 speed. That's kind of interesting. I don't like the braking on it though. The braking is a little low. I've noticed there's a lot of good BMWs on here. Let's see what BMW has. I've seen a lot of people racing the BMWs. Here's an M4. That's got good handling at 5. It's got good speed. The braking's better. But see how it's rated as a B-class 554? That's not a whole lot I'm going to be able to do to modify to that and keep it in B-class. So I'm going to pass on that one. This one is a C-class. So we're going to be able to modify it. Not a whole lot because it's still 476. And C-class stops at like 500. So we can do a little bit to it. It's a 4.7 handling, which is a good start. Good speed, good acceleration. That's a pretty good candidate right there, that M235i. Here's an M6, that's too high. Not really much room to tweak that M5, so we're going to pass on it. Z4 might be a little bit light on the top end. Here's a 1. Is that Z4 6.8? Oh, maybe it won't be light on the top end. Here lately. This M3 looks pretty good. 4.8 handling, 6.6 speed, 4.7 braking. That M3 looks real good. I like that. Wow, this M5 looks good, but I think I'd rather have the handling over the speed. I don't know. Both of those are good candidates. Z8. It looks like you can do something with that Z8. This is good. It's dropped down to a C class, so that's a good M3. That's a nice one. You could do something with this 850 too. Boy, BMW's got a lot of good cars to modify. Now that's a little too low on the handling. That's really low. Oh, it's a D class. Okay. That's a D class too. It doesn't have a whole lot of speed to it, but it's got really good handling. Look at that handling already. 4.7. 4.7 handling, wow. Let's buy that. But this one's a good one too. I like that M5. Let's do the M6. I don't see many of those M6s around. M6 CSI. I'm guessing the C's for coupe. Maybe the S is for sport. I don't know what the I is for. Injection? I don't know. I'm not real familiar with. It's not bad. The Jägermeister car. There's a lot of designs for this car. Maybe a few people have liked this. Let's go with that one. It looks pretty good. Okay. We're gonna buy that. Hope I got enough credit for everything I want to do to this.
This is your 1986 BMW M635 CSI.
Now we're gonna tune it. Let's go to the upgrade shop. What kind of engines do we have available for it? We could put a V8 in that thing. Or the 3.2 liter inline 6. That looks pretty good. I like that 3.2 inline 6. Nice thing about that is that looks like it's going to save the weight on it. Let's see what the... Yeah, it's actually a lighter engine. So we're roughly going to give it... It's like a little over 50 more horsepower. And it's going to be lighter. Yeah, let's do that. So that's the first thing I want to look at. I like this. You know, when you look at it, well, that was a twin turbo. You always want to give it brakes, so we're going to give it good brakes. I'll always go for the racing suspension. And these are just kind of the musts. Roll bars all the way up. Now the reinforcement on B class, I really like to focus on weight savings, trying to keep the weight low. And you see if I put that full roll cage in, that's going to add a lot of weight back to it. So let's go just with the sport reinforcement. I'll come back to the weight reduction here in a minute. First, I like to get everything I can in as far as the gears, the suspension, the brakes, and kind of get it kitted out with all the race things that I put in every car. Race diff as well, okay? So I got race clutch, race transmission, race diff there. Let's see. Only a Forza front bumper, so I'm not going to get anything there. Forza wing, and I can take a wing off. Is that wing going to make a difference? It's a little faster, probably reduce drag without it. I can always put it back in if it slides around. I'm going to go without it just to save the weight. I really like my cars to start with the weight savings. Okay, so now this is really the first part of tuning it. I like to look at the tires and the weight. And that'll get me up to 5.4 and 5.2. Now let's go look at the weight and see what we can do there. So weight's good because not only does it help your handling, but it also helps your acceleration and your braking. Now this is really good as far as the weight reduction. But that's going to bump me up to 548, and at 600 is going to be the max. So I'm going to slide it down one just to give me a lot of room to play with. You know, I still feel like I want more horsepower. Let's go back to the tires. So I can get tires. That's probably pretty good on the tires. Go with 5, 6, and 5. That's a big difference. I wonder if I make the rims, I can get up to 5 there. So that I give me 1. And this will give me 2. Let's try this. And let me just see what that will do. How wide are these tires? I like to have wide tires. Those are 265s, 275s. Those would be really big. Let's do it. I like nice wide tires. So I went with 275s on the back. And it gets me up to 5.5 handling. I'm kind of happy with 5.5. Oh, I can't go up anymore. Let's use that 20 to see what I can do for horsepower. So 6.2 on the speed, 5.5 on the handling, 7.6 acceleration, 5.5 braking. It may be a little underpowered, but it's going to handle real good. Let's see what the rims look like. You know what? I think I'll just leave the rims. I kind of like the stock rims on this one. Now I always like to check on the cam first. Oh, and I can't do a cam. because this would allow it to shift. See, at the end of the RPMs are on the bottom, and as you go farther to the right, that's going to change the RPMs on where you can shift, and that would really let it rev a little bit higher, and you're going to max out where the two intersect is really, that's going to be your power point, the highest point. So I would be switching gears at like 5,500 RPM would be ideal on that one. And then I'd want it to go all the way up. I'd want it to, when it drops in this next gear, to hit the next gear at no lower than 5,500, maybe 6,000 RPM. That would be ideal. And over here, it's about the same number, but you can't let it rev as high. See, over there, you could probably let that rev to 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like it's going to redline at maybe 8.5. And over here, it redlines at 8, just beyond 8. So I could add 9 horsepower. I could add 15 horsepower with the valves. If I gave it a bigger engine, that would get me to 18. I could get 18 there. Get 19 there, 19. And not only, the nice thing about that is look at the handling, the acceleration, and the braking. See how they turn green? That means it's going to save me on the weight. What did I do here? Oh, I wanted to test. Okay, here we go. Yeah, see, these are actually lighter. It bumped the car down to 229.17. A lot of people like to do the exhaust to give it a nice little burly sound. That'd get me up to 6.3 with 13 horsepower. $15, $18, $19. So really, I'm looking at maybe the pistons right now. That's 18. That's 13. I wonder if I could put a supercharger on this. Can't put a turbo. Just short on a supercharger. That would have been interesting. Okay, so let's do this. Nine. 18. I'm trying to see what combination is going to give me the highest without having to buy them all. That changed it by 8. That one would give me 5. That gives me 4 left over. Gives me 3 left over. That's 20 horsepower. It's 18. It gives me 4. It gives me 8 left over. I wonder if I can do anything with 4. Oh, I could still upgrade the fan. I could get sport oil cooling. I could get all the way up to race oil cooling if I went with the 4. That gives me 4 left. There we go. Oh, I forgot to get a flywheel. Eleven, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 11 and 5 seconds. I was looking at the 0 to 100 time right there. See the 0 to 100, 11.05 seconds. So let me see what it would be with this. It's actually faster with the oil cooling. I could go down 1 and it'd still be the same. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a compromise. I'm gonna buy one for 800, and then what else can I do? Okay, so I can get 5 more horsepower there. You give me too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Way too much. Maybe the valves. Too much as well. It's only going to be the sport oil and cooling. There we go. So last thing I'm going to check is, can I save any more weight? And the last thing I like to check to save weight is the driveline or the wheels. And I can't really save 4.3 pounds. I can't save any weight there. It'll bump me up. So I think we're pretty good and ready to go. I could could look at the wheels. I wonder if I could do anything on the wheels. I could maybe put heavier wheels on it if I wanted to. And that would give me another... Add 10 pounds. No, let's leave it the way it is. I like the BMW wheels. Okay, so now we're gonna tune the car. And this is what gets a lot of people. I recommend, you know, getting 3 kinds of tracks to tune on, okay? I would recommend having a track that's short so you can set some low gears, and maybe a medium track to set your gears for medium, and maybe a top end track to set it for faster tracks. But right now, I mean, you want to find 3 tracks that you're really good at and just watch your lap time. But what I like to do is I like to start out with the tires. In case anybody doesn't know, as tires heat up, they gain air pressure. And so what I'm doing under here, under PSI, that's pounds per square inch. So I'm dropping the air pressure a little bit, okay? And you can see over on the left side, the stats change as you do this. So I think I started out with 30. And let's look down at the lateral G's. 1.21, 1.22. So... and 0 to 60 is 4.726. So we're going to drop that down to 28. And no, let's do 28 and a half. So the G's stay the same. $4,726 on the 60. It's actually got a slightly slower 0 to 60 time there. Nope, now we're good. We've all evened out with the lower pressure in the rear. Okay, then I like to go to the gearing. And I like to start out by looking at the top speed and finding a top speed that looks good. So I'm at 171. And if you look at 6th gear down on the bottom right where it's got the picture of the gears, that 6th gear is way off the chart there. So let's draw it back in. See, it's starting to come down on the red line. Let's see what the top end looks like there. So it's around 170. I'm setting this track. I'm going to test drive this one on the Alps, which is one of the faster tracks. And you know, I find most cars when I get up to 171.8, 171.9. That looks perfect. Let's leave it there. It's just under 172. Now I like to make this first gear, I like to scale it back towards the speed a little bit. So I'm pushing left on the pad to move it over towards this, like a higher top end. And what that does is it stays in first longer, but that's okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in first. So my thinking is I'm going to increase that a little bit. We're going to do this with second. We're going to do the same thing because hopefully I'm not going to be spending a lot of time in first or second. And then with third, since this is going to be a high speed track, I'm just going to notch it up 1. Now, you know what? Let's go down 1. I'm going to go down 1. So that way when I'm hitting third, I should be at a little bit higher RPM. So third through fourth through fifth should be a little bit quicker. So I'm going to notch fourth down 1 as well. And we're going to notch fifth down. And 6th right. And as I in fifth, more towards acceleration. That means when it hits 6th, it's already going to be at a little bit higher RPM. Now let's look at the alignment. Camber is going to be what your vehicle does at the top of the wheel, and generally a negative camber means that the top of the wheel is tilted farther in towards the car, and a negative camber is going to make your car a little bit slower, but it's going to make your car handle better. And I noticed it's already set with the -1 in the front, and that's probably just so it can steer a little bit better. But I'm going to give it, 2 more in the back. Toe is going to be, that's kind of like your alignment. It's where the front of the tires, do the front of the tires point in or do they point out? And a lot of times, toe can be what causes your vehicle to pull. So I'm not going to set with toe. I want my vehicles to track perfectly straight. You may want to adjust toe, like say if you were on, I don't know, an oval, and you knew you only wanted to turn left, you could point it to where it's got a natural pull to the left. Let's see, caster. That is like an imaginary line from the top of your strut tower, like where it attaches on where the top of the suspension attaches on the car. So it's kind of like this, and it's the angle from which the top of your strut goes down to where it attaches to the knuckle. And what it's going to do is it's going to tilt your wheel, forward or backwards. Like if you ever look at the front of a motorcycle, you've got your wheel up here, and then you've got your handlebars, right up here, and then you see this is see how that changes? That's going to be your caster. And you don't want a caster where you're, this right up on top of the wheel. So you want it kind of angled back a little bit. And I'm not even going to mess with the caster. The roll bars is where a lot of this comes into play. I find that mainly with the roll bars and the suspension, that gets most of your handling tuned. So let's do this. I like to stiffen up the front. Not a whole lot. And then in the back, I'm going to stiffen that up as well. But I'm going to leave the back not quite as stiff as the front. And believe it or not, it may sound a little bit odd, but by leaving the back softer, it's going to help your car it's going to keep your front end it's going to help your car turn better by leaving the rear softer than the front. So if I wanted it to turn a little bit better, I could come down here to the rear and continue to drop it. The other thing that I like to do is I like to make the springs a little bit looser as well. I'm going to make the springs softer, kind of to soak up all the bumps. We're going to keep it around probably 500 on the front. And I'm going to do similar to the back. We're dropping, I essentially dropped those about 100 pounds per inch. Okay, and now on the ride height, I like to lower the ride height as well. So we're going to lower the front. Can I not get it any lower than... Okay, I don't want it all the way down because sometimes I find that bumps. And sometimes I'll lower the back more, you know, if it's not turning well. But in this scenario, the back's just a little bit higher than the front, which is about where I like it. But a lot of times I will drop the rear a little bit lower. I'm not going to start out this way with the rear a little bit lower just because this had a natural tendency here. What's next? I didn't do anything with the bumpers, so I'm not going to be able to adjust the aero. The braking, whenever your car brakes, you know, again, it has a natural tendency to make the nose want to dive down and make the rear of the car come back up. So you're naturally going to get more braking in the front, so you want to adjust your braking force to the front. So I don't know, maybe 65, 70 might be a good number. And then I'm going to give it a little bit more pressure. I'm going to put it at 110. And that should be a pretty good setup there. The differential, I typically don't mess with the deceleration, but the acceleration, I like to turn the acceleration up as high as I can. And I like to be able to pull all the way on the gas. And you know when you've got it just right, because when you pull all the way back, it'll start to break loose. But you can not quite pull all the way back and it'll still have the power. So I like to set it to where it doesn't break loose. And then once I figure out how low I can go with having it not break loose, when I come out of the corner and then give it full gas, then I'll notch it up just 1 or 2 from there to where it has just a little bit of break loose. And I tend to find that on a high-powered vehicle, it tends to be around 80, 85, just depending on what kind of car it is. So that's it for everything I can tune. I told you I was tuning this for the Alps. So let's go give it a drive, see what I think, see if there's anything that I can tweak on it. Sounds good. It's got maybe just a tad bit of understeer. I know a lot of people like that. A lot of the faster guys like that. Sometimes if it's not a long course, I can find that understeer problematic racing with a lot of people, because it means I have to brake if I really want to maneuver to get out of somebody's way. That felt really good actually on that turn. This turn is normally a tester. It's good on the... I could probably give it a little bit more power coming out through the corners, and it's still got a little bit of understeer in it. So let's go adjust a couple of things. So I'm going to come to the differential and I'm going to crank that up to 90 and see what that does. And let me see if I can I think I want to change the ride height just a bit. So I raised the front just a bit, and I lowered the rear. And let's see what that does. I might need to change the roll bars too. Whoa. Okay, that got a little loose through there. Braking feels pretty good. It's starting to come loose just a little bit out of the corners. So I'm kind of liking this setup. I wonder if I can get a good run in the lap and see what it'll do. Wow, still clipping that edge there, huh? See, that's what it doesn't like when I go wide on the turns. Doesn't want to come back in. It's got that understeer in it. Just a hint, I need to get rid of that. I wonder maybe if I stiffen up the rear springs just a little bit. I think I'm going to try stiffening up the rear springs just a bit. Because it's got a little bit of slide in it from the springs. So let's go rear springs. 493. We're gonna give it about 20 pounds more. There we go. This should be like the long speed. Whoa, I was watching that. Oh, look at that, look at that. As you can see, that red line says I should still be braking, but I held it way through there. So I'm starting to like the setup on this already. I feel like the handling's down pretty good. I'd like to look at the gears next, but let's see what the time says on the lap. Might have to get a better lap. Okay, so that's running about a second. This isn't good. I let off the gas through there. Yeah, I'm liking this tune. Here's the straightaway. Wonder what speed I get up to. And the good thing about the gears is once you get the gears, kind of somewhat adjusted between 1 through 6, then you can just adjust the final drive ratio. Almost to the red on number 6, on 6th gear. Ooh, I felt like that 6th gear is pretty good. I feel like 6th gear is pretty good. I really wanted to touch the red, but I typically go a little bit under the red because if I'm drafting somebody, I want to be able to pick up speed. But on this track, I'm going to take it down on the tune. We're going to go to the gearing and we're going to set the final drive. Oh, look at that. I'm a dedicated tuner. Woohoo! I feel like if I stay in the 170 range, that it's still going to be good. Okay. Let's do 480 and see how that looks. Let's try that out. so I'm gonna watch the downhill part and just kind of see where I go in 6th gear. Should be after this one, so I need to take this turn good. There we go. Oh no, I rubbed the rail. Nope, it's not this one. Okay. I don't like how it stays in that low RPM, 6 around that corner though. Here it is. Ah, darn it. I need another lap. But you can hear it really rev up to the top right there. I'm going to need another lap to see how high it'll go. Definitely don't want to be in a low RPM in any of these gears going up the hill. Yeah, that was a bad turn. Another bad turn. That thing go. Yes, go. Get it. Rubbing that wall barely. Okay, I can't rub that wall at all because when I rub that wall, I hit those tires around it. Anyways, I feel like that's a pretty good tune. Try one more lap and we'll see what we think. Now, of course, you know, the more you race it, the more you can go in and tweak it. But really what this is just to give, you know, somebody a basis on what to start with, because everybody's a little bit different in how they race and what feels good to them, and what feels good to me might not feel good to you. But I like to have everything just on the edge of where it can lose control so that I can, you know, kind of test my limits, but where I can just let off the gas and it comes back in and it's all manageable. I feel like by doing that, I give myself the opportunity to advance as a racer, to get better. And then when these settings are no longer a challenge for me, then maybe I'll loosen up the car or tighten up the car to, you know, make it more challenging. but I want to give myself just a little bit where the car can get out of control. There we go. See, let off that gas that time around. Come back in, let off just a bit. Nice. I didn't even brake, I just let off the gas just a tad. Same there, just as I was turning, let off the gas. Don't even need it here. Little brake. Back on the gas. Little brake, back on the gas, up. Just barely clipped that wall. Should have broke a lot sooner. The good thing is I still got a lot of turn to accelerate out of. Just off the gas, I'm back on it. Just off the gas, back on it. Off the gas. See, I feel like that's a great downhill to really... Maybe I could set that 6th gear even just a little bit taller, because I think I can pick up a lot of speed on that downhill. So let me go back and tune that. And we're going to change just the 6th gear. And we're going to make it taller. I made it 4 clicks taller. So now I'm at 0.74. Let's go back and see what that looks like. And I'm doing that specifically for this track. It might not be good on another track, but I'm just testing it out for this track. And of course there's going to be people out there that look and they're like, oh, you know, your lap time sucks, you're slow. But there's going to be a lot of people out there that are brand new to the game. They're really going to find that this car handles well for them. Or it at least gets them to the point where they can be competitive with, you know, people that are maybe on the same skill level as them. That have maybe already tuned a car. I got to watching that speedometer, not the brakes. Because really all I'm eager to see is just eager to see the downhill if it's going to make a difference. Or maybe how much of a difference it makes. See, it's a little slow through here though. I'm riding in that 6th gear with the low RPM. See, the thing that I like about this is you can kind of hear me squealing the tires, which again, people are going to tell you that that's not the fastest way. But really the fastest way is to be able to consistently drive a good line. And I feel like this vehicle allows me to be able to turn when I need it. I feel like it gives me pretty good speed through everything. I haven't hit this thing where I wanted to, but I do feel like maybe 4 was a little aggressive. So we're gonna go back and I'm gonna notch it back down to let's go 1 on the acceleration. Okay, and I feel like that's a good combination. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this, and I'm gonna go test it on some tracks with some people. So